Hello, everybody. Welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations. I'm your host, Karen Del Maestro, health coach, breast cancer survivor, carrier of the BRCA2 gene mutation, and I'm also a bounce back expert, which is super relevant today. So today we're going to be talking about when will I feel like me again? If I can tell you how many times I have been asked this question, pretty much, as I talk to every single breast cancer survivor that I talk to, this is one of the top questions. And understandably, right? This journey, without a doubt, changes us. This is something we have been talking about in depth this week in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. And we've been talking about how, and this was like across the board, pretty much everybody was saying how their breast cancer journey had changed them, how they don't even feel like they're the same woman that they were before. And some of the things that, were really coming up a lot for most people, and I can certainly relate to, is that we don't feel like we're the same person. We've just gone through this massive trauma. And as with any other trauma in our life, be it divorce, be it a car accident, be it the loss of loved ones, any major trauma, we change. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to change for the worse, though. That's what I want to know. So let's dive in a little bit more and talk about what we might be feeling right now. Right? What you might be noticing is different for you after breast cancer, or even if you're still going through it and still struggling. So you might be feeling like you're 100 years older. I even look a little older. I let my hair go naturally gray. I decided to stop dyeing it. So this is now my natural color. But you know what? I'm fortunate because I have hair. There's always a silver lining, right? But so many of us feel like we're older, right? We've gone through a war, we have fought, and it takes so much energy to fight, no matter what our treatment plan is here. And I want to make this super clear because I know sometimes it can feel that if you perhaps don't go through chemo or perhaps don't go through radiation, that your fight wasn't hard. But I want to tell you this. Your fight was hard because no matter what your treatment plan, you have heard the words, you have breast cancer. And with those words, I think for 99.9% of the women that I speak to, comes that immediate thought, am I going to die? I'm included in that, right? I had those thoughts too. And I think that's just a very human response to hearing those words. Because as we well know, when we hear those words, we don't know the stage. We don't know what needs to happen. We don't know any of that. So it's scary. It's scary. And that's why I want to make it super clear that no matter the treatment plan, all of these thoughts are valid, entirely normal, and they matter. How you feel matters. So, like I said, whether you're feeling like you've aged 100 years, whether you are dealing with anxiety and depression like you never thought imaginable, these are entirely normal. Excuse me while I scooch over because my puppy, my 100-pound Rottweiler Marley, just did a little chat with me. She likes to come under my desk. So I don't know if you heard that. She went, that's her chatting to me. So she's now getting comfy under my desk. So this is live, guys. So the anxiety and depression that comes so often, partly because one of the major side effects of all of our treatments, no matter what it is menopause. And so anxiety and depression and menopause often go hand in hand. So again, super, super common for you to be feeling these things. The exhaustion, right? absolute drained exhaustion. Again, you have fought a battle. That's tiring. If you think of what your body has gone through, and your mind and your soul, all of those things, right? So many of us feel self-conscious about changes in our body. Maybe it's our hair, maybe it's our boobs, maybe it's scars. Maybe we were dealing with lymphedema in our arms because of lymph node removal and everything. So many times these make us feel like we don't even know who we are in our own skin. Okay. And one of the biggest things that I hear over and over is that fear of getting it again. And so obviously, right, we have changed. We are not the woman that we were pre-cancer. So with that comes along the thought, when am I going to be me again? Who are you now? Right? If we recognize that you're not the same woman, how do we get you to feel like you? Right? So hang out with me. And if you're on, please say hi. Just pop any questions into the chat. Right? So if we think about trying to go back to our pre-cancer life, we might be thinking that it really doesn't fit who we are anymore. This is super common. And this is not just with breast cancer. This is with any major trauma. We might realize that life just doesn't fit us anymore. We are changed. Not only for the worst. There are some good things that come out of this too. And you may not be at that stage yet, but I promise you, you will be. Because it's all to do with realizing that we have a choice. It's all to do with realizing that we have the power to change our direction. So think about, am I trying to go back to how life was? And if the answer is yes, I'm going to invite you to think about things a little differently, right? Think about, are you that same woman? Do you want to go back to life exactly as it was before? Or, if given the opportunity, would you like to switch some things up? Were you really happy before? Like really, honestly, happy, joyous, peaceful, calm in your life before? These are great questions to ask yourself before you start to fight to get back to what life looked like before. Now, I also want to acknowledge here that often there's external pressure from everybody else in our life to get back to what life was, right? If you notice that, everybody's like, okay, well, you're done with treatment, get back to life, get back to work, get back to the housework, get back to taking care of the kids, get back to taking care of everything that you did before. You notice that? But we feel this pressure then to do that, but you might have a disconnect. Your inside might be saying, I'm not ready. And it could be because you're tired. It could be because you're recognizing that maybe you don't want to go back to that place. It could be so many things. And I want you to know again that these feelings are entirely normal. Entirely normal. So let's talk about what this next stage might look like and how long it might last. And then that helps you figure out, when will you feel like you again? But I want you to look at this stage as an opportunity to make choices that better serve you. Because here's the deal, and this is what I have learned going through divorce, major car accident, losing my mom, my dad, and my younger brother. breast cancer, BRCA2, all of these things. Through each of these major traumas, I have kind of stepped back and looked at life and said, what's working and what isn't? What's causing me stress and anxiety? And how do I get to make different choices that are going to help me make a change there? Doesn't mean that everything has to change, but it's this awareness that is so helpful in helping us to design and create a life that actually feels really good. Because it's possible, no matter where you are, no matter what your family circumstances, no matter your job circumstances, all of these things, I want you to know that it is possible to thrive. It is possible to create a life that feels really, really good. And to know that you deserve that life because you have fought this battle. And it is hard. It is hard. So let's take a look at the time frame, right? What I want you to know is after treatment ends, the next stage of recovery actually starts. So this is when all of the real emotional, physical, mental healing actually begins. Okay, so this is when we start to step back into feeling like you. I shouldn't say step back because we don't necessarily want to step back, but let's say step into you, the real you, as you are today, the woman that you are today, the woman that we're going to celebrate because you deserve it. So how long does this next stage last, right? Well, first of all, I want you to know that patience, grasshopper. We need patience. And if there's anything that we learned on this journey, it is to be more patient. And I hope to learn, with that comes learning to be more compassionate with yourself. So this next stage, what I want you to do is write down a letter A. And A equals your date of diagnosis. Then B. B is the date of your last active treatment or surgery. Now, in this, I don't include, for instance, I'm on letrozole. I'll be on it for another 3 years. I don't count that as an active treatment. Although, of course, it does affect me. It affects my mind, affects my body, affects all of those things. But what I have researched and what I know is it's really the active treatments. So A is your date of diagnosis. B is the date of your last active treatment or surgery. This next stage of recovery you can expect to last the length of time between A and B. So for instance, to give you an example, my date of diagnosis was July 19th, 2018. Okay, 2018. Yes, that's right. Sorry. Breast cancer brain. It happens. Woo! So, does that happen to anybody else? Let me know. Let me know that I'm not alone here. So for a while, my last treatment, my last surgery was actually July 27th, 2019. Okay. So then that would nicely wrap up into a year. However, then I ended up going through complications with capsular contracture and a whole bunch of breast implant illness symptoms. So I ended up having my breast reconstruction removed. I'm now flat. July 27th, 2020. So this next stage of recovery for me, from July 2018 to July 2020, you got it, is 2 years. I said patience, grasshopper, right? So what that means is this next stage where my body is recovering, where my mind is recovering, where dealing through and working through all of the emotional stuff that comes along with breast cancer, because it is far from just a physical disease. There is so much immense mentally and emotionally that goes on with this disease that many people can't understand because they haven't been through it. This is part of the reason why my Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community is so valuable, because it is full of women who get it, who understand that this next stage is not easy and it takes time before we are back to feeling like ourselves. And here I go using that word back again. I don't want to do that. I have to start reframing that for myself here, because what we say affects how we think and how we act. So before we are feeling like ourselves again, whatever that woman, that beautiful, strong, courageous woman looks and feels like, that's what I want you to be stepping into. Because she is not the same woman that she was before. It's almost impossible to feel the same way after going through what you've been through. But it doesn't mean that it needs to be bad. For so many, we talked about some of the negative things and the tough things that we might be feeling, the anxiety, the depression, the exhaustion, the body aches, being self-conscious, and that fear of getting it again. But what about some of the positives, right? I'm a silver linings kind of girl. I think it's part of what helps me to be that bounce back expert, because I always look for the silver lining. I always look for the lesson. And I always say, what can I take from this that is going to make my life better? Now, you may say, hey, Karen, that sounds kind of selfish. Ask any of my clients or women that have been in my circle for quite some time now, and they know 100% that everything that I learn, I share. So it is far from selfish. In fact, every lesson that I learn, I spread out there like confetti so that all of you can benefit from it, whether you're a breast cancer survivor or not. That's just what I do. So I learn these lessons, and then I'm excited to share, because what I've discovered is in any journey, there's a lesson to be learned. And that might just help one person. And that means that I've done great for the day. But feel free to share these lessons with as many people as you want. So let's talk about some of these perspectives that are more on the positive side, right? I have heard, first of all, so many women say, whew, don't have to wear a bra again. That's great. That's me. I'm flat. Some women, by the way, are also super surprised that even with reconstruction that they still need to wear a bra. Depends on your doctor, depends on the philosophy, depends on a lot of things. So many people say that their perspective has changed in life, that they realize that they're recognizing what's really important. And that might be people that have stepped up and who are there to help them through the journey. It could just be things that they stressed over before that they no longer stress over, like the line, how long the line is in Starbucks or something. It can change your perspective on the simplest of everyday things. That's a positive, right? I'm sure you've heard of the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Well, this helps. This helps in so many ways. That's a good thing, right? And something else that I hear frequently is that this journey helps us to stand up for ourselves, helps for us to learn about our body, about our mind, about how we feel, about what we want, about the quality of life we want, about the health that we want and crave, and the kind of people that we want to surround ourselves with in our life. I hear so often people say to me, Karen, my BS tolerance is so low now, like I just don't put up with it. I don't put up with any BS, any negativity. There's just no room for it. So is this a good thing or a bad thing? This is a good thing, right? Because that helps us then to set these boundaries and not invite that negative energy into our lives. Because it's like you've heard of energy vampires, right? They just suck you dry. And when you go on this journey and even afterwards in this next stage, like I've just said, I have told you how to figure out how long this next stage is. We need to preserve our energy. We need that energy to take care of us so that we can step up and take care of the other people in our lives that we want to, who are important to us. But if we're sucked dry and we're not taking care of ourselves, we can't step up in that way. So if you're on, say hi. If you have questions, let me know. Today we are talking about when will you feel like you again? So, I want you to consider, if you are not the same person, this is your opportunity to figure out who you are in this new stage of your life. And you may say, Karen, how on earth am I supposed to do that? Well, I've done it. I can't tell you how many times I've had to redefine who I am after each trauma, after each major thing that I've been through. And so I have a system. I have a proven roadmap. These are part of the things that I share with you in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. So if you're wondering how you figure out who you are now after your breast cancer journey, you want to figure out how to navigate this next stage. You want to figure out what you're supposed to do to even cope with all of these changes and to cope with this overwhelming fear of recurrence. Please come join us in the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. This is where these in-depth conversations happen. This is where you are going to find a group of amazing women who've been through this journey, who share openly, who are not judgmental, who are incredibly supportive and open and honest. And you know what? This is hard to find in life, period, on the internet, even more so. And this is really an incredible group of women who I am happy to call my tribe because they really are amazing. And I feel honored to be a part of their journey and to journey along with them. So please hop on in, Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. And we will continue on this journey, continue these discussions, continue digging into how we feel and how to cope with those feelings, right? And how do we actually take useful steps, not overwhelming, small little steps, but that are super valuable to help you reduce that risk of getting it again, because I'm all about that, right? So today, just to summarize, right, we talked about when you can expect to feel like you again. We talked about whether you want to go back to how you felt before or whether you are a forever changed woman. I am. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. What I've learned is amazing. What I've learned is amazing. And I now have this opportunity to step up and truly serve other breast cancer survivors as we are all navigating this next stage. Right? So think about, are you the same woman? What are you feeling now that you didn't feel before? Both positive as well as negative. Do you want to go back to what life was before? Or do you want to choose this as an opportunity to make some changes and create, truly create a life that feels good for you right now, where you feel healthy and vibrant, strong, and peaceful, which is not something that we often feel as we go through this journey, that's for sure. And what I have also managed to do is figure out this balance, right? How to take care of me so that I can take care of others, right? And again, that's something that we share and talk about a lot in Healthy Living After Breast Cancer, the Facebook community. So the biggest lesson, patience, grasshopper. Patience, 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 right? I shared the formula for how long this next stage lasts, right? Where A is your diagnosis date, B is the last date of your active treatment, and the length of time for this next stage is the time frame between those. So, as always, please feel free to share this video with somebody that you think could use it today. There are people out there who struggle with this every single day, and you may not even realize it, because so often somebody that's going through this journey is putting a smile on and showing up in the world pretending like everything's okay, but inside she's struggling. She's having a hard time because there's a disconnect between the woman that she was, the woman that she is today, and where does she fit into this life now? Okay? You probably don't even know it, but trust me, she does. So please feel free to share this message. And for any breast cancer survivors out there, please come along and join the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. I'm going to be putting a link wherever you see this video. If anybody is on right now that has questions about what we've talked about today, when you're going to feel like you again, how you might be feeling now, how long this next phase lasts, does anybody have any questions? I'll give just a second here for anybody to pop in and ask any questions if you're on watching this live. If not, feel free to drop in the comments after you've seen this video and just put hashtag replay. And I'll make sure that I get back to you with some answers on that. Anybody have any questions, comments? By the way, I'm in Seattle, Washington, and today is one of those days that you look at the weather and it's exactly what you would expect of Seattle. It is rainy, it is windy, it is chilly. And it's really one of those yucky days. So it's a good day for a nice hot cup of tea, a book, and a snuggly blanket. So hopefully I'll be finding some of that. Don't we all need that right now? I'll be finding some of that a little bit later on today, hopefully. So I think that's it for today, guys. Wrapping things up. Again, if you're a breast cancer survivor, come on and join the Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. I'm your host in there, and I truly care about the community of women that is in there. This is not just any old Facebook group. I have and anybody that's worked with me for years can tell you that I love what I do, and I love to connect. I don't like to just talk to a screen. Like, I really like to get to know the people that I am honored to be part of a community with. And so, that's what I try to do in there. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. I will see you next week. Have an amazing week. And don't forget, hop on in, Healthy Living After Breast Cancer Facebook community. I'll put the link right where you see this video. Bye for now. Have an amazing week.